I'm already upset that they made us wait like 9.5 minutes. Like they bled the clock. But the Jags got Trevor Lawrence. Hey, look, I can grade the pick. Well, obviously it's an excellent draft pick because he's like the best quarterback prospect maybe ever. And I'm not going to, take up too much time talking about this pick, trying to review this pick. When it comes down to it, man, this is all about just can the Jags not screw them up. As long as the Jags don't screw them up, I really don't want these videos playing because that's an auto demonetize right there. As long as the Jags don't screw this up, Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. But do we trust the Jags not to screw up Trevor Lawrence? It's Ken Urban Meyer, who's not known for being like a QB whisperer, QB guru. It is the coaching staff that he built up good enough to usher in, hopefully, this brand new era with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Or are they going to kind of maybe be like the Colts when they got Andrew Luck and have this bona fide franchise quarterback, but not have the general manager, not have the coaching staff in place to maximize said quarterback? That is my biggest worry with this selection. But the Jags got themselves Trevor Lawrence, and man, oh man, is he going to be fun to use in Madden 22. All right, pick number 2. The Jets have sent it in. It's Zach Wilson from BYU. I mean, we've been saying for quite some time that the draft really does start at 3, I think, with that Niners trade with the, with the Dolphins there. Pretty much showing that the Jets weren't budging because the Niners definitely would have offered that trade to the Jets. And then by the Jets saying that, no, we're staying at 2, pretty much kind of played their hand that they wanted Zach Wilson. Then obviously the trade with Sam Darnold. We knew it was going to be a QB. Could have surprised us with Justin Fields. But ultimately, Zach Wilson, really, really good fit. Jets are going to kind of look like the 49ers, probably offensively. Zach Wilson is made for that offense. I think there are knocks against Zach Wilson. Obviously had that injury and, didn't really play against anyone at BYU. But I think one thing that I'm starting to do as someone that, it's been 7, 8 years talking about the draft on YouTube and various other platforms, is that, like, if a player's good, it doesn't really matter too much, who they played, where they played. Like, if a guy's an absolute stud, I couldn't care if he went to Youngstown State or Ohio State. If you're a freak of nature and you're going to be good in the NFL, doesn't really matter where you went. So, Zach Wilson, I'm not worried about the level of competition. Like, the same will be said with Trey Lance to a certain degree. And I think, again, one thing, as a content creator that plays Madden, one thing we're not really talking about is almost all these QBs are going to be so fun to use in the new Madden. They're all going to be super overpowered. And Joe Douglas does a solid there by landing Zach Wilson at pick number 2. And we're also, I'm not going to really pat myself on the back too much, but we're 2-2 for my final predictive mock draft. All right, we got it. 49ers. They got Trey Lance. Good pick. They didn't mess it up, man. They didn't mess it up. Could have messed it up, but they didn't mess it up. That's the right call. Niner fans, you guys hear that? Did you guys just hear that? That's a collective sigh of relief amongst every 49er fan in the world. Because I don't think, as much as I like to, I could stack my Jalen Hurts Eagles reaction up to any draft reaction ever. I think there's probably would have been some great 49er ones. If they mortgaged the next 3 drafts to get Mac Jones, they mortgaged the opportunity to have enough draft capital to trade for Aaron Rodgers to get Mac Jones. At least you have someone in Trey Lance who at 20 years old, going to have more than enough time to develop with Kyle Shanahan into a very nice quarterback. And hey, congrats, Niner fans. You didn't get Mac Jones. That's a very good pick. And I don't know, man. Hey, you probably now with that pick have eliminated yourself from the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, but player for the future could do a lot worse than Trey Lance, and you should be excited because Trey Lance, if he can put it all together. One thing now is like, what happens to Jimmy Garoppolo? Are you going to want Jimmy Garoppolo to kind of be the stopgap quarterback there? Because I don't know how open Kyle Shanahan is going to be to throwing Trey Lance to the Wolves right away. But either way, it's not Mac Jones. The Atlanta Falcons are up with the 4th pick. Kyle Pitts, man. Gators, baby. I'm pumped, man. I get very attached to Florida Gator. I'm a Florida Gator fan. And, first of all, this is one of the 2 moves that need to happen. Bengals are up next. For Philadelphia trading back for 6, for me to not be upset, Ja'Marr Chase had to go. But for me to be like fine with it, like if Philly was still sitting at 6 and Pitts and Chase were already gone off the board, I'd almost be like, trading back is probably kind of good for Philadelphia at this place. Even though, if they stayed at 6, they'd have their pick of if they have Waddle or Devonta Smith higher or whatever. But for the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts, it's a great man. I mean, I hate the lazy comp Darren Waller. He's Mike Evans, in my opinion. He's Mike Evans. And now you do have Kyle Pitts, S-tier athlete, S-tier receiver, even though he's a tight end, S-tier receiver. Pair that with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, you're giving Matt Ryan a chance. That offense with Arthur Smith at the helm, Arthur Smith definitely got that job in Atlanta because I think the work he did with Ryan Tannehill, and the work they did with Ryan Tannehill was taking an already veteran quarterback and taking his game up another level. And I think that's what he's trying to do with Matt Ryan. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons' logic was in hiring him. He's like, hey, Matt Ryan was an MVP. He's still been playing good, but hasn't been at that level. Arthur Smith, he did that with Ryan Tannehill? What is he going to be able to do with Matt Ryan? Can he get Matt Ryan going back to that MVP form? And if he does, you now have Kyle Pitts on your team. So good luck trying to stop that. Good pick for Atlanta, and we are now 4 for 4 in our predictive mock draft. The Bengals are up. Ja'Marr Chase went. That's a dub for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's an L for Joe. It's not an L for Joe Burrow. I don't want to say anything disrespectful with Ja'Marr Chase because he is so goddamn good. But I think if I'm Joe Burrow, while you're getting that connection from LSU, I think I would rather have Sewell protecting my blind side for the next decade than a 1-year stopgap and Riley Reif being okay. But this is great. Oh, thank God. Philadelphia, Howie Roseman, you dodged a bullet. You had great insider information because I wanted Kyle Pitts and Ja'Marr Chase if Philly stayed there at 6. And now that these guys are off, as an Eagle fan, I would have been obviously I would have my pick of the bunch of the guys that are still left, but I would have been like really open-minded, trading back a couple spots, seeing if we can get more picks. But what this means for the Cincinnati Bengals, Ja'Marr Chase reuniting with Joe Burrow. My first round pick, because I had them going Sewell in my predictive mock draft, but I mean, now you have Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver 1, T. Higgins, wide receiver 2, Tyler Boyd in the slot, tight end, still got to kind of figure that out. Offensive line, still got to figure that out. If you can get Joe Mixon healthy, that's definitely a huge asset in the backfield. And for Joe Burrow, I mean, this is going to be a Bengals team that absolutely, with this selection, probably won't be picking here next year. They're going to be better than the bottom 5 team or hold a top 5 pick in the next draft. Ja'Marr Chase, in my opinion, he's Devonta Adams, except maybe a little more juice to him. And Devonta Adams is, top 5, top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. And again, this is almost one of those things. This is the Bengals' time. My reaction to the Bengals pick. Very happy that Philadelphia trade back. I would have been gutted sitting there at 6, hoping for one of Kyle Pitts or Ja'Marr Chase to fall to my Eagles. But yeah, it's always going to be polarizing. I think there's going to be two sides of thought versus Ja'Marr Chase versus Sewell for the Bengals. Couldn't really though go wrong with either one, and that's a huge get for the Cincinnati Bengals. Solid pick. Let's get this pick is in. Jaylen Waddle. Oh, I wanted him. And then got someone in his draft room throwing up gang signs. Jaylen Waddle going to the Miami Dolphins. That's a good pick. You should know my reaction knowing that he's not going to be a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a good pick for Miami. Obviously, you get the instant chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa. You have a guy that kind of complements what you have right now. Like, what do you got at wide receiver right now? You got Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki. Those are your top 2 wide receivers. So then, I don't know who's the next guy. Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, something like that. But Jaylen Waddle is instantly your wide receiver 1. He is a better wide receiver than Devontae Parker. He's got a guy that, in my opinion, I compared him to T.Y. Hilton, peak T.Y. Hilton. He was one of the best burners in the NFL. You could have Jaylen Waddle play on the outside because he's 5'9", 180. He could still line up on the outside, just run right fucking past someone. But you can also put him in the slot, have him be all sorts of different plays. Essentially, maybe how they manufactured touches for Jakeem Grant. Just get us Jaylen Waddle. He's better. Downside, size. Size, and he's had some injury concerns. So, I'm not going to dog this pick whatsoever. I'm upset that he didn't fall a little bit. But Jaylen Waddle to the Dolphins. Tua must be smiling from ear to ear. That's a good get for Miami. Still got another first-round pick. They can go on the offensive line if they want. Go somewhere on the defense. Running back. Something like that. They, getting Jaylen Waddle and something, there's almost no way the Dolphins can screw this up. This could look terrible in retrospect when I edit this video together if they botch their next pick. But Jaylen Waddle is a member of the Miami Dolphins. Congratulations to her. So the Detroit Lions pick is Sewell. They get Penei Sewell from Oregon. And, hey, you know, they kind of tipped their hat. I'm watching on the NFL Network's broadcast here, and everyone in the war room was celebrating. And you only celebrate if it was because someone fell. You didn't think they were going to be there. You know, if it was going to be Devonta Smith or Patrick Toney, they're probably expecting they would have been available at 7. They get Sewell, who's unreal. You know, admitting an L on the Big V contract. This guy is so goddamn embarrassing right now on the stage. The super fan for the Lions. Oh my God. It's Tina Turner. It says it's Tina Turner. Sewell, great fit. Right tackle, left tackle, whatever you want to do with Decker. But Joe, you know, is Jared Goff. If Jared Goff is your guy, we have seen from the Rams that if Jared Goff doesn't have a lot of time to throw, not a very good quarterback. So if you're going to try and make the most of the Goff situation of your quarterback, go protect him. Go give him some help on the offensive line. Sewell is a solid pick. Carolina Panthers on the clock. J.C. Horn? J.C. Horn? I know my buddy Drew out there right now. He had J.C. Horn bet first corner off the board. Shocking. Not shocking, because like the gap between Surtain and J.C. Horn, in my opinion, wasn't great. But, I mean, you're Carolina. You need corner help for sure. And J.C. Horn's absolutely the kind of guy I could see Matt Rule falling in love with. I think with Rashawn Slater still on the board, though, protecting that offensive line. I mean, again, you know, they could still redeem themselves. The Carolina Panthers with their top pick in the second. Do they even have a top pick in the second round? With their next pick, if they can address the offensive line, grab a tackle, you know, it still could be fine. J.C. Horn, very good athlete, very aggressive. There's some legitimate concerns that, you know, he's got to get flagged a lot in the NFL, but absolutely an alpha. He's a player that I've done a lot of. I've been trying to psych myself up about the pick because he's been linked with my Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he's really good. I don't think he's better than Surtain, but it's like one of those things, if you told me C4, give me your Madden ratings for Surtain and J.C. Horn. Surtain would be, if I'm giving Surtain an 80, J.C. Horn's getting like a 78, and they're both having the same dev trait. Like let's put a Madden perspective on how I'd feel these two corners are. But Horn's an absolute dog, and congrats Carolina on getting a shutdown corner. Got it? You know, a lot of good wide receivers in that division. You got to match up with them. So while we're waiting, I'm going to reiterate. I'm recording this for the YouTubes now. I'm going to reiterate what I just said. So we're currently sitting here after the J.C. Horn selection, because this is going to have to come back in retrospect in case I'm right. So the way that the board's set up right now, Philadelphia, there's you want Devonta Smith or Patrick Surtain. All right? What's Denver going to do? They can go Fields. You know, they can do something. But there's a very good chance now with how the board has gone, especially with J.C. At least J.C. Horn was like a good, like we didn't get Surtain, at least we got J.C. Horn. He's off the board now to Carolina. So Denver, we'll just say Denver goes quarterback or something here. Dallas goes Surtain. Giants go Devonta Smith. And then at pick 12 here for Philadelphia, it's, if we don't trade back, I'm going to be livid with the selection. Because it's like, all right, BPA is fucking Rashawn Slater, Kwity Paye. Like, oh no, this is, right now, I went from being ecstatic that Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase went before pick 6 to the Philadelphia Eagles to, I'm all out doomsday prepper right now because this board is not looking good for Philadelphia as it stands, staying there at pick 12. And if I'm Philly, I'm probably calling Denver right now to try to trade up. And because, you know, you got to leapfrog. You got to leapfrog Dallas to get Surtain. And it's going to be the same fucking shit as last year, where Dallas got CeeDee Lamb when we hoped he was going to fall to us. Dallas is going to get Patrick Surtain when we hope he's going to fall to us. Fucking Cowboys, man. All right, Broncos are up. Patrick Surtain? What? What? Unless that's like a trade piece in Aaron Rodgers. What? You have Fuller, right? You paid Ronald Darby big money. You have Bryce Callahan in the slot. That's this. I mean, I don't want to say it's a stupid pick because Surtain's my corner one, but fuck me, man. What? You know, the only silver lining of this, I'm going to thank you, like, again, I honestly project this more as like some sort of like NBA draft style thing where like, this is who the Packers are going to want in a package deal for Aaron Rodgers. Because I just put $25 on the Broncos win the Super Bowl about an hour before this stream started. But what? Justin Fields, like, this has to be it. Because there's no way they fucking pass to Justin Fields and go with Drew Lock. Or goddamn Teddy Bridgewater. You're not going with Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater with Justin Fields on the board. So this has to be a draft and trade type scenario. But the one thing I will say, he's a good player. So even though it's not, corner wasn't a drastic glaring need for the Denver Broncos, you just got a very good cornerback that's going to improve that team somehow, some way, if not this year, next year. But I appreciate the hell that this is a massive fuck you to the Dallas Cowboys at pick 10. It's like when Philly had Dallas a couple years ago to get Dallas Goedert at tight end. This is a great fuck you to the Dallas Cowboys. So from that, it makes me happy. But now I'm very worried because right now Philly has to hope Devonta Smith falls 2 more picks. Okay, so the Eagles have traded up with Dallas. I don't know what we gave up for that pick yet. I hope it wasn't too much. Can someone in chat tell me what we gave up? Pick 12 and a 3rd rounder to move up. We got the timer right now. You won't see it. It has to be Devonta Smith. We had to have done that deal, paid a 3rd round pick to give the second big middle finger to the New York Giants so the Giants don't get Devonta Smith. Right? The first big one was throwing Nate Sudfeld in week 17 and having them cost the Giants any chance of making the playoffs. Second one will be leapfrogging him to get a guy that, I had Jaylen Waddle over him, but at no point during this draft process was I do not want Devonta Smith on the Eagles. He is he would be the best wide receiver. Like I was comparing earlier in chat. He's the best wide receiver we had since probably Super Bowl season Alshon. And then if you go back from that, these, D-Jax, prime Deshaun Jackson. I mean, that's like comparing apples and oranges, different style wide receivers. But in terms of talent, right? Like it has been like a decade. Like if we could just throw the anomaly of the 1 year, right, with Alshon Jeffrey. Devonta Smith is the most talented Philadelphia Eagle from a talent standpoint. I don't know injuries, if the size is going to hold up, but he's going to be the most talented Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver since T.O. And that's kind of a slight on the franchise because we just haven't had a great line of wide receivers. But I think there's an argument to be said what Devonta Smith brings. He offers more than Deshaun Jackson. He's better prospect than probably Jeremy Maclin. Offers more than Alshon Jeffrey, and definitely offers more than what we saw to Jalen Reagor last year. So Philadelphia is bleeding the clock down. And as you can see, I've only talked about Devonta Smith because there's no other way that this selection is anybody other than Devonta Smith. If Philadelphia has traded up to 10 to get Justin Fields, Philadelphia has traded up to 10 to get Rashawn Slater, Philadelphia has traded up to 10. I don't even know who else they could have they could. This pick just needs to happen. This pick just needs to happen so that I can just move on with my life and just be happy with the decision that my team made. Just don't mess. This is at this point. This is another thing. If this isn't Devonta Smith, Howie Roseman has to be fired at the end of this year because there's no you can't get this pick wrong. It's clearly there's no options. It's no we'll give credit. We'll give them benefit of the doubt. It's not like Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson. It wasn't like they weren't kind of close, right? You're looking for different style wide receivers. If you truly thought Justin Jefferson was only a slot, then you may be more inclined to get someone like a Jalen Reagor we thought was going to be this burner on the outside, right? But at this point for Philadelphia at 10, there's no what ifs. There's no, well, maybe. If it's just literally the only player at 10, if it's not Devonta Smith, that I will go let's see, is Justin Fields. And that means Philadelphia absolutely believes Justin Fields and thinks Justin Fields is going to be the guy. This has got to be Devonta Smith. I'm going to order his jersey if it isn't tomorrow. Oh, come on. The pick. Okay, I'm watching NFL Network. It's just right now it's pick. He's talking to some kid in the chair. That should have been that Giovanni guy. You're picking a fan. I'm not. Whatever you guys are seeing on this video and on stream on the draft tracker, I'm not watching it. You need to see this live reaction. If this is not Devonta Smith, oh my God. No, they fuck up. They mess up so many times. Okay, we traded with Dallas with the 10th pick. Devonta Smith. Oh, they didn't mess it up. They didn't mess it up. Oh. They didn't mess it up. Oh, I was so worried. This is the best first-round pick for the Eagles because we're a little bit worried about Carson Wentz and the school thing and stuff like that since Fletcher Cox. This is the best I've felt about an Eagles selection since Fletcher Cox, and it's been a very long time. Oh, they didn't mess it up. They didn't mess it up, and they gave the middle finger to the Giants. They leapfrogged the Giants to get Devonta Smith. Slim Reaper, baby. The Slim Reaper is in Philadelphia. I love everything about him. His character, every interview, man, he's been real. He's been honest. I don't think he's going to delete his Twitter like 40 times throughout the season like Jalen Reagor did. We have a weapon for Jalen Hurts or whoever will be the next Philadelphia Eagles quarterback for the significant future. Oh, man. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner. We got a Heisman. If you told me Philadelphia, before last year's college football season, Philadelphia was going to draft a Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver, we're going to be ecstatic with it. And, if I'm going to be critical of the pick, I just kind of feel like Devonta Smith was always a first-round wide receiver, but a lot of people kind of propelled him up to that, obviously now, top 10 range because of the statistical season he had with Alabama. And if Jaylen Waddle didn't get hurt, he's probably not winning the Heisman. He's probably not having that huge statistical season where if that's why you moved up your boards, it's not much to it. And he had a quote. I saw it on Instagram today. He had a quote. Devonta Smith came out and said he probably doesn't win Heisman if Jaylen Waddle doesn't get hurt. He understands that. I love that he came out and said something like that because that's the kind of guy that's going to succeed in Philadelphia, the kind of guy that's honest with himself. And I'm very happy with this. They didn't mess it up. They leapfrogged the Giants. Big F-U. Nate Sudfeld. Hail Mary interception. F-U to the Giants. Devonta Smith is an Eagle. Oh, it's so nice not having your team drop the ball. Oh. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's my reaction. Hey, people thought we were going to blow up. Literally right now, the Bears just traded up in my live stream here. They're probably getting Justin Fields. Very happy for whatever quarterback. If they get Mac Jones, it's going to look bad. But if the Bears get Justin Fields at 11, very happy for Bears fans as well. You guys have suffered enough. But that'll do for me today, guys. That is my reaction to Devonta Smith going on the Eagles. As always, first time stopping by, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. A lot more Eagles stuff coming throughout this weekend. I'll be grading and reacting to all the Eagles picks here on the YouTube. So, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. All right, Bears traded up with the Giants. People are saying in my mentions it was a first. Giants got 2 firsts for this. It has to be for Justin Fields. Could be Mac Jones. Justin Fields to the Bears. Congratulations, Bears fans. Finally, you guys got a quarterback. Finally, some sense to be optimistic. It's no more like Andy Dalton. It's no more we traded to get Nick Foles. You now have a legitimate QB prospect that Matt Nagy should be able to groom and develop. It's a great fit for that scheme. And hey, you traded 2 first-round picks, but, that's good business, I think. I think the cost to bring in someone like Justin Fields definitely worth the price that the Bears had to pay. And I genuinely feel very happy for the Bears fans. You guys got a quarterback. You deserve it. All right, the Cowboys are up now at 12. I think it should be Rashawn Slater. Could be Micah Parsons. They got Micah Parsons, hell of an athlete. The thing with getting Micah Parsons was really, really good linebacker prospect, but you have to, the off the field, all that stuff that was coming up during the draft process, you had to your draft board, your draft room had to give him the okay out the field. And of course, it's a team like Dallas that just doesn't give a shit. They're like, oh, how many tickets did you get? You killed how many people? Sign him to a deal. So, I guess there could be something to be made out of if Micah Parsons has character concerns. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys would draft him. But thinking about that linebacking core, if they stay healthy, Leighton Vander Esch, Micah Parsons, Jaylen Smith, that's pretty goddamn good. You also make this pick because your linebackers can't stay healthy. When was the last time Leighton Vander Esch? I don't want to say it, but he's kind of starting maybe to look like me. He could be the next Sean Lee. Really good when he's there, but he's not there all the time. If I'm a Cowboy fan, never saying that. feels gross even like phrasing something that way. Micah Parsons is not a bad pick. I think someone like Slater might have been, the smarter decision for Dak Prescott. But if you're going BPA, Micah Parsons is most likely best player available at 12. And it's annoying that if he does put it all together, they find a way to maximize his strengths, his tools, what he brings to the game. That's not a guy that I really am happy about staying in the division. So generally, the last couple years, I have thought Dallas has drafted very well. And this, of course, the team that has no morals drafts a guy that maybe has some character issues, but he's such a damn good football player. It's an annoying pick. Therefore, a good pick for Dallas. Chargers just get Rashawn Slater. It's going to be the guy. Protect Justin Herbert. They get Rashawn Slater. Easy. That's honestly, after the Trevor Lawrence selection, that has been the easiest pick of this draft. Rashawn Slater, bonafide, gives me some Tristan Wirfs vibes, whereas with the Wirfs too, people were a little bit concerned about the length, and he just, started and dominated right away for the Tampa Bay Bucks as they went on to win the Super Bowl. And Rashawn... Finally, Philip Rivers is screaming somewhere to his 38 kids. Why did they never invest in the offensive line when I was there? That is a home run, A-plus pick for the Chargers. Rashawn Slater. And if he sucks, he's a guard. If he sucks and underwhelms as a tackle, he's still going to be a damn good guard. But I think you got yourselves a tackle that's going to pair very nice with Brian Bulaga. And most important thing, unlike the Bengals, didn't protect Joe Burrow. You guys have done your job. You protect Justin Herbert. I'm happy with it. Charger fan, you should be over the moon. Jets are on the clock at 14. They traded 23 2/3 to go up and get probably protection for Zach Wilson. Vera-Tucker? Drafters in. Elijah Vera-Tucker. Hey, I was just talking about this on stream, man. You watch Zach Wilson last year at BYU. You see a guy that operated behind an elite offensive line. What he doesn't have in New York is not elite offensive line. You have an outstanding left tackle prospect in Becton, not much else. So even if they view Vera-Tucker as a guard, they probably view him as a right tackle. This is a home run pick for the Joe Douglas is so good. It cost you 2 third-round picks to do that? Man, Joe Douglas will still be in the building for Philadelphia. But Vera-Tucker, that is good business there from the Jets, protecting Zach Wilson. Patriots up at 15. Right now, sense of chat, I'm feeling it as well. If this pick is Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is as New England Patriots of a quarterback as there is, they didn't even have to work for it. It just fell to them. That's classic Patriots. I can't even think who else they would get either than Mac Jones. They got Mac Jones. That's a good pick, man. As much as so many people want to revel in the fact that the Patriots might suck again for a little bit. Fuck yeah, that's good business there from the Patriots. Mac Jones could be, kind of like Tua, look a little bit out of his element once he gets away from Alabama, right? But if not, and this is if there was going to be a Patriot quarterback at 15, it was going to be Mac Jones. And it's just why is everything so easy for the Patriots? Why is everything always so easy for the Patriots? Congrats on Mac Jones. I think most Patriot fans are going to be happy with that pick. He can operate the offense. And, I think my logic all along with this selection was they have to go quarterback because there's no way they spend all that money in free agency and just throw it on the shoulders of what is probably a washed Cam Newton. So they get Mac Jones. All right, congrats, Patriot fans out there. Going nuts probably. All right, the Cardinals are picking, and they get Zaven Collins. Wow, spoiled on Good Morning Football. I think Peter Schrager, who's has some connects there in Arizona, had the Cardinals going Zaven Collins, versatile linebacker. I'm worried. I think I would be a little bit worried. Obviously, he's going to probably slide in next to Jordan Hicks as a middle linebacker. But I think if you're the Arizona Cardinals, you're worried because how long you got a gadget player, mishmash, what positions you play player in Hassan Riddick, took you a very long time to find a way to utilize Hassan Riddick. Obviously, there's been DCs and coaching staff changes, but just from an organizational standpoint, it took you so long to finally figure out Hassan Riddick, and then when they actually did really well, couldn't pay him, went to free agency. Isaiah Simmons, how long did it take for you guys to kind of figure out how to use Isaiah Simmons? So now you get a guy like Zaven Collins kind of falling in that mold. How are they going to use Zaven Collins? He's kind of a polarizing linebacker player. It's another difficult pick for Arizona, but a pick that they apparently like to make. It's a good player. I mean, at the board here, like maybe, obviously the Caleb Farley medicals are probably not too great. Could have went wide receiver. At this point, maybe like a Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss is getting a lot of momentum right now as a potential first-round pick. But, I mean, Zaven Collins, not bad. Not bad at all. Just a little bit worried with the team's track record of, what position type players and not having, a bunch of home runs so far for the Arizona Cardinals. Could be another case like that with Zaven Collins. Raiders can make some bad picks here. They can make some good picks here. Darrisaw's on the board. I still rate Cosme. You could go Jaylen Phillips in my mock draft, and they get Alex Leatherwood. Raiders gonna Raider, baby. That's a Raiders pick. For better or for worse, that is like the most Raiders pick at 17. That genuine feeling of, like, I feel bad for you that I had for the Chicago Bears fans when they signed Andy Dalton. I have that for you guys right now, Raider fans. I like the Raiders as a neutral. I will enjoy watching the Raiders play. Try to get behind the team. I love the history, but my God, it puts it in perspective as a Philadelphia Eagle fan that there's other teams that absolutely suck so much at drafting. Leatherwood could best be a guard. Tested well at the pro day. A lot of experience at Alabama, but I mean, I don't think it's as bad as the Damon Arnett selection from last year. I mean, Leatherwood was a guy that throughout all of the last 2 years of college football was like kind of like a consensus, like he's going to the first round at some point. And then a little bit later in this draft cycle is like, well, maybe he's a second rounder, maybe he's a guard. But I still think it's not as bad as, the David Arnett pick last year. It's just, it's a weird pick, man. And that's what the Raiders do. They make weird picks. All right, Dolphins are up here at 18. Got to be an offensive lineman. Jaelan Phillips. I'll tell you this. I mean, they got rid of Shaq Lawson, right? So they had a need for an edge rusher. He's my number one edge rusher. Edge rushers usually, number one edge rushers, don't go at pick 18. I guess that speaks to the depth of edge rushers and how the perception of D-line generally in this draft is very low. And while I think, you got to continue to invest on that offensive line, that ain't a bad pick for value. Like, if you told me edge 1 would go off the board at 18, while it's not a popular pick, maybe slightly of a niche selection, it's not a bad selection at all. Jaelan Phillips is an S-tier athlete. He's really good. He's well-rounded. Like, the only thing knocking him, and probably the only reason why he's still there at 18, is that he medically retired at UCLA. I think it was concussions. So that's never something that you really want to have, especially with someone that you're investing a first-round pick in. But if Miami gave him the big old thumbs up, A-OK, we're good drafting, the medicals are good, 18's great value for Jaelan Phillips, even though edge rusher to an already really good Miami Dolphins defense from last year might not be the biggest of needs. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. And that's a really good player. Really, really good player as long as the medicals and he can stay on the field. In terms of like what you're getting, he's so well-rounded. Type of guy, like usually when you get these big edge rushers right now out of college, they're just, you got to try to hone them in on their run defense skills. He's good at everything. He can work the run. He can set an edge, rush the passer, high effort on every play. He's just a generally very impressive player. He absolutely was my defensive end edge, whatever you want to call it, one this year. And got him 18. It's good value for Miami. I think so. 19, Washington football team, Jeremiah Owusu-Koroma, JOK. We're thinking that's the pick, chat. I think that, again, it'd be annoying. Parsons and JOK going within. Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis. I mean, for Philly, you're not trading up for a linebacker, but I would be thinking about trading up for a fucking linebacker from the Eagles right now. Davis, S-tier athlete, linebacker, got a lot of momentum last couple weeks or so. Is like a legit first rounder. I mean, he was probably like, I will say this. Once I published my final like predictive mock, I was a little regretful that I didn't have Davis going in my first round of my mock draft. I was like, man, he's going in the first round at some point. Did not think he'd go over JOK. But again, Davis is more in line with, a Devin White type, where like he's a linebacker. He's a legit linebacker, and you got him to be a linebacker. JOK is like safety linebacker hybrid type, and maybe someone like Washington, especially like that Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, they're gonna know linebackers. They're probably gonna I don't know if we're gonna know how to use JOK or what we're looking for our linebackers to do. JOK is not gonna suit that skill set. Going more of a traditional build at line. I mean, Davis he's V'd up, man. This guy is absolutely jacked. Phenomenal athlete. Tested out the gym at his pro day. I mean, I don't know. I don't think many Washington fans would be like they wanted a linebacker. There's not a giant difference between JOK and Davis here. It's not a bad pick. It might not be the predictable pick. It might not be the linebacker you wanted, but he's a solid linebacker, and he's gonna make that defense better. And I feel like, especially given the coaching staff that Washington has, I feel like they probably deserve the benefit of the doubt that they know how to evaluate linebackers, and they got this one right. So the Giants are now up on the clock. Finding out who else is going in the division. Could be a prime position for JOK through the top three linebackers going within the division. So the Giants at pick 20 get a future first round pick and Kadarius Toney. No, I want to like you. You go to a team that, I've got over that. I've matured as a fan enough that I like Saquon, like players that I like. Giants are a lot easier to get. If you're a player that I really like and go to Dallas, that might be the end of it. But like Giants and Washington, I don't hate you the same amount, and I still like Saquon Barkley and Kadarius Toney. That's going to be the comparison, right? Philly got Devonta Smith, and it's going to be, the Giants got Kadarius Toney and whoever they get with that first next year. That will be the comparison between those two teams. I'm a little bit shocked, maybe. I don't want to say shock's the word, because clearly they were interested in wide receiver. But, Kadarius Toney, he's, came to Florida as a quarterback, and really only had he was always electrifying, but, consistency's maybe not there. Still learning the wide receiver position. Could be, it wasn't the safest and easiest pick for the Giants to make here at 20. But I'm not going to dog any of my Gators. Hopefully he does well in every game that's not against the Philadelphia Eagles. Kadarius Toney going to the Giants. Oof. It's annoying, but it is what it is. Colts are on the clock. Darrisaw Cosme. I'd love to be Sam Cosme because it makes me feel like my tackle evaluation is higher. And they got Kwity Paye. Now, the last time I talked bad about the Colts and their drafting, I got put in a Darius Leonard highlight video on Twitter from the official Colts fucking site. So I don't necessarily want to, roast them. And generally, Chris Ballard's been an exceptional general manager. But Kwity Paye? Dude is like, Kwity Paye? You need a tackle. You gotta protect Carson Wentz. Kwity Paye does not help out Carson Wentz. And helping out Carson Wentz should be priority number one for the Colts. Kwity Paye? At least it wasn't the Eagles getting Kwity Paye. Thank you, Colts, for doing that. All right, Titans can go literally anywhere with this pick. They got Caleb Farley at corner. That's BP. I thought between Caleb Farley, Darrisaw, or Sam Cosme at tackle, that should be the direction. They could have, wide receiver, could have made sense there. Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore. I assume they gave him the big, tick, clean bill of health for Caleb Farley. They need big time help at the cornerback spot. And, the last time they took a pick like this, it worked out very well. Jeffrey Simmons. They drafted Jeffrey Simmons. Knew he wasn't going to be able to play right away. Knew there was some stuff there potentially from an injury standpoint. And Jeffrey Simmons has been an absolute beast since he's been with the Titans. So they got lucky with that. Well, no, I would say lucky. They did their job on Jeff Simmons, and that pick worked out. Hopefully very similar here with Caleb Farley. That's a nice selection. That's good value because if he comes clean bill of health, he could be the best cornerback 3 years from now from this draft class, and getting that at 22 is really good value for the Tennessee Titans. Minnesota Vikings are up. We're thinking O-line, Darrisaw, Cosme. They get Christian Darrisaw, who very well might have been their pick at 14. So being able to trade back, I think they got multiple third-round picks or something like that. It was the juicy part of the deal moving down. I could be wrong. It's been a long stream. I'm a little bit under the influence. But ultimately, Darrisaw at 14 or wherever the fuck they were originally picking was a very good pick for the Minnesota Vikings. The fact that they're able to go way down to 23 and still improve that offensive line, still get a guy that most likely will start day one at left tackle for them, it's good business for Minnesota. Minnesota and Dallas are like the two teams, and maybe Buffalo and the Jets. Those would be that four bubble team that over the last 2-3 years, I've loved their drafts. I've loved what they've been able to do. And yet again, Minnesota hits it out the park. Go here. Pittsburgh Steelers up at 24. Is it running back? Or is it going to be O-line? They got Najee Harris. They went running back, and boy, oh boy, is there ever going to be a player that's going to split the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base about if they're happy with this pick or Pittsburgh pick, because it seems like half the Steelers fans despise the idea of drafting a running back in the first round. And the other half was like, we need a running back. Najee Harris, power back, built like James Conner, better than James Conner, more durable than James Conner, can catch, can run between the tackles, good athlete, not great athlete. I don't hate it, man. I've never hated it all along. I have mocked throughout the mock draft cycle running back to the Steelers enough times to be like, yeah, this pick kind of made sense for them. But I know there's going to be so many people that absolutely hate this pick. But I'll say this. The last time I liked a pick that a lot of Steeler fans didn't like was TJ Watt. So maybe there's a good omen there. And Najee Harris to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Personally, I like that move. I get the idea of not wanting running back in the first round, but looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're still trying to compete with Ben Roethlisberger next season, a guy like Najee Harris is going to make a big impact for you guys going forward. And then still in the second round, might be able to address the interior of that offensive line and replace Marquise Pouncey, sorry. All right, the Jags on the clock here now at pick 25. No real idea where they go. Safety? Linebacker? They get Travis Etienne. The disrespect to James Robinson. The disrespect to James Robinson with that pick. Etienne's a beast. I love the Jamal Charles comp. That's the same comp I gave to him. It's going to be a good NFL running back as long as the O-line is solid. The disrespect to James Robinson with that's all you're getting for this reaction. That is fucking disrespectful to what James Robinson did last season. Etienne's better football player. Yeah, James Robinson. That's disrespectful. Browns up at 26. Please let the JOK slide continue. Browns get Greg Newsome. I mean, it's not bad. Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Greg Newsome. Yeah. It's not that's not a bad pick at all. It's not, holy shit, let's rush out Browns fans and get a Greg Newsome jersey. But that's a solid pick. It's not a bad pick. I'd give that initial grade. That's a strong B. Trending towards a B+. Need help on the outside. Newsome, not a ball hawk. Get that good compliment though, right? Newsome always getting pass breakups. Greedy Williams, more of a ball hawk. So that can work well as the Browns try to find who's going to be their next corner that can play with Denzel Ward. And that's a great stable of corners. That Browns secondary has so much. That Browns secondary is what? Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Greedy Williams, Ronnie Harrison, Grant Delpit, John Johnson. Am I missing some of that? That's 6 legit NFL starting defensive backs for that. Browns are going to be good next year. Browns, I think, I'm telling you right now, Browns are winning that division, and they don't really have any holes whatsoever. Congrats, Cleveland. I just admitted the Browns are going to be really good next season. Got the Ravens. They have 2 picks. Obviously, at this point in the draft. Hey, I would love Philly actually maybe trade with Baltimore. Repay us back for giving you guys Lamar Jackson a couple years ago. And they get Rashad Bateman. That's, arguably top wide receiver on the board still left. First round wide receiver, pretty much consensus. Late first round, though, wide receiver. That's not a bad pick at all for Baltimore. That's absolutely a position they wanted to get better at. And then if you're still Ravens at 31, if you are going to stay there, still names at tackle to replace at right tackle. If Tevin Jenkins is still there at 31, that could be an easy pick for the Ravens to make. If Cosme's still there, I still have him as a first rounder. But starting at 27, get Rashad Bateman. That's solid value. Didn't overpay for him. That's what the Ravens do. They don't overpay. Like Patrick Queen fell right into their lap last year. Needed a linebacker. Needed a wide receiver this year. Rashad Bateman fell into their lap. It's good business. Yet again, Baltimore, they don't mess up the draft. It is what it is. Chat might have spoiled this pick. Saints are up, and this pick is actually what it is. We got Raiders. You get the rest easy because this is going to be about the worst pick in the first round. Peyton Turner, defensive end from Houston. Now, I'm going to be smart now and not have this blow back on me like Darius Leonard, where I'm like, this is the worst pick. This guy sucks. But regardless of what you think about him as a defensive end, and looking at the defensive ends that are remaining, you took him over Joe Tryon, Boogie Basham, Greg Rousseau, the dude from Vandy, who's good, Ronnie Perkins. Regardless of that, I'm just gonna roast this pick because of needs. What? A defense. JOK's there. You need a linebacker. Any corner will do. Wide receiver. Get another guy there to help out Jameis Winston. And you go Peyton Turner. Sorry, Saint fans. This is what you get. This is what you get for being insufferable for when you guys lose in the playoffs. You get Peyton Turner. Oh, you have Cam Jordan? You spent 2 first-round picks on Davenport? Wow. The Packers are up now at 29. Feels like, again, no matter what they pick, it's going to be kind of, overshadowed by Rodgers. But it's going to be a wide receiver to help out Aaron Rodgers, a center. Going to be a back end of the defense of the secondary. And they get Eric Stokes, corner from Georgia. I mean, I was gassing him up on Twitter. I like Eric Stokes. I'm glad he went in the first round. And if you're Green Bay, you saw what Kevin King just absolutely fucking, even though you brought him back for some reason for a contract, you watch the failure in the closing of that Green Bay Packers season, and you can look at like, well, how do we not have this happening in the next year? And you do that by addressing the cornerback spot. So you're going to have Eric Stokes play on the outside with Jair Alexander. And you still got, Kevin King, less of responsibility. Maybe he can be better for you there. You got Josh Jackson, right, from Iowa. Chandon Sullivan's been a solid guy, depth guy for you. So, I mean, I don't hate the pick, but again, it's just one of those situations for the Green Bay Packers where, you got yourself a corner, but everything, and no matter what they did this pick, was going to be overshadowed by, the Aaron Rodgers stuff. All right, pick 30 for the Buffalo Bills. We're almost at the end here, thank God. I'm ready to chill out for a little bit. Buffalo at 30, I'm going to say, Asante Samuel would be pretty cool if he goes there. Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher, help out the defensive line. I think this is going to be a defensive pick. I feel a little bit comfortable in saying that, but I mean, in just 5-6 seconds here, I could be looking wrong. But Bills Mafia, building upon a very good season last year. They select with pick 30, Greg Rousseau, edge. Hey, insanely high ceiling. That's what we'll say. I like Rousseau. I know a lot of people in the draft community, you're on the side like, yeah, he's going to be good. Or this guy sucks, has no bend, pro day, very worried, red flags. I like that pick for Buffalo. Honestly, you got Sean McDermott, got his toy. Sean McDermott got Ed Oliver, and you're going to develop Ed Oliver into a beast. Now he has Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau hits his ceiling. The same time Ed Oliver hits his ceiling. Good night. Good night. So this selection is, as a Buffalo Bill fan, as just a fan of football in general, do you trust Sean McDermott to be able to develop Greg Rousseau? I think Sean McDermott. I think I'd rather personally Sean McDermott have the opportunity over a lot of coaches in the NFL to actually develop Greg Rousseau. And if clearly the Buffalo Bills viewed Greg Rousseau as the highest ceiling edge rusher, especially taking over someone that might not need as much work like Azeez Ojulari. I mean, again, that'd be like the thing. The positive thinking for Buffalo is like, man, if Rousseau and Ed Oliver put it together at the same time, good night. It's over. It's over. That's terrifying. Baltimore Ravens are up. Jason away. They're going for the project. 2 back-to-back project edge rushers. Surprising pick. I mean, again, when you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, we talked about this Bateman pick. They just make good picks. Maybe a little bit on the risky side, especially with Ojulari still on the board. But you get a guy that's just, okay, S-tier athlete. Could be, if the right coaching, like a Montez Sweat, freaky, like, oh my God, 4.3 some speed, 250, 260. I'll say that's a weird pick. Wasn't expecting that pick from Baltimore, but it's a position that they definitely need to address. And they're the Ravens, so maybe we trust that they deserve the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that, especially if you're looking for Azeez Ojulari at this selection and you're going edge. Just there's been not enough bad. I can't even name 5 bad things on one hand like that the Ravens have done as a front office. Like Hayden Hurst was like the last really bad decision that they made. So let's see what they can do with OA and develop him as a defensive edge rusher. I mean, yeah, he's just a defensive edge rusher in every sense of the word. He's defensive. That's what it is. Because pretty much you're dealing with an incredibly raw player that could be a bunch of things for you. Hopefully he's good. And he's Baltimore's pick, so he probably is going to be pretty good. All right, final pick. Tampa Bay's up. Ojulari, he's still there. You're going to be laughing. Joe Tryon, they go edge. What is going on? Did Ojulari fail a drug test? Did you got people in his basement? Tryon, guy that, didn't have a whole lot of playing. Oh, shit. Let's fix this here a sec. Round 1. Didn't have a whole lot of playing time at Washington, but a lot of people that I trust in terms of opinion of valuing guys were like, this guy's going to sneak into the first round, so... again, it's your projections. You're not getting this guy that's like, holy shit, he dominated last season, 2020, whatever like that. You're getting a guy that's like, all right, we saw enough at Washington to be like, he is going to be the guy that's going to take that next step. He's going to be that guy when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're like, they need to get younger at edge rusher. JBP's not getting any younger. Shaq Barrett, I mean, you're fine there. But, getting the successor, the heir to JBP, absolutely a completely valid pick there at 32 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he's going to be a guy that will, most likely, and if he hits, be that successor to JPP. But right now, he's going to be a hell of a rotational edge rusher to come in when those guys are subbing out. So we end up this draft, Tryon to Washington. So that's, guys that are remaining here. Top remaining players. I'm going to go on this little thing here. Let's see if I can pop this over for the video here. These are the guys that are still left. Highest overall. As we go into the second round, and we're going to end this video here. As an Eagle fan, absolutely, JOK is my number 1 guy. I would be calling right now, picking up the phone, hey, Jacksonville, we got Zach Ertz, your tight ends suck. We'll give you Zach Ertz and our second round pick to move up that amount of spots so Philadelphia can get the Darius Leonard. Other picks for Philly, I guess we'll just end this video and end this as an Eagles thing. I think Christian Barmore makes a whole lot of sense for Philadelphia. I think Azeez Ojulari makes sense for Philadelphia. Asante Samuel makes sense for Philadelphia. Tyson Campbell could make sense for Philadelphia. I mean, even now at the second round, if we start dabbling in edge rushers, that might not be like someone like Ojulari who's like, oh shit, this guy was good. We didn't think he was going to be here in the second round. I mean, I wouldn't hate a Boogie Basham. We could look at the successor to Jason Kelsey, be it Landon Dickerson or Creed Humphrey. Terrace Marshall Jr. could double dip at wide receiver. Rondale Moore is still there. Still plenty of value into the second round for my Eagles and for all you guys out there that might not have got your dream pick in the first round. Still lots of talent, but JOK, that is the belle of the ball. And oh my God, if Philly gets JOK in the second round tomorrow, I'm not going to say a bad thing about Howie Roseman for at least till mid-season. I will promise that. At least till mid-season. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching my first round draft reactions. I will be doing this for the second and third round. It might not be like every single pick. I know for the Eagles, I will definitely be doing Eagles ones. And I'll probably do day end, maybe reactions. I don't know yet. But I hope you guys did enjoy this style of reactions. And I hope everyone's excited with your picks. I mean, now that we're looking at the overall draft, to finish this out, like, what were the bad picks? Like, I was trying to talk on my stream, and if you did not tune into my Twitch stream, people that are watching right now, because I'm streaming and recording at the same time, definitely check out my Twitch. I'll be streaming this day 2. But generally, this has not been like a WTF draft. A lot of picks. I mean, surprising picks for sure. Like J.C. Horn surprising, Surtain surprising where he went. But for the most part, like Leatherwood could be like suspect pick. You could say maybe Kwity Paye to the Colts could be suspect pick. Good player, but they desperately need a tackle. You could say maybe ETN to the Jags could be kind of weird. But again, no, like Peyton Turner to the Saints is probably like the big like, what? Pick from the draft. But, you know, even then, I learned my lesson from Darius Slater. I'm not going to bash players anymore. I mean, I actually, you know what? I will still bash players. But I don't know, man. I feel like if you're everyone but the Saints, for the most part, you got a nice play for your team going forward. But let me know how you feel about your team's picks in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys back in a more. Like, subscribe, all that good shit. Peace out.